Hi, this is Laura, and I thought I would go through the script and show how I see basic scene changes happening on stage, basic looks, and see if we like where we go and move forward from there. So we're on the first page of the script of The Brave Little Tailor, and we're in the tailor shop. So I have this little sketch right here, and I see this as stage right, with a door that's covered one side with muslin, some kind of fabric, so people can go in and out of, and another door up here that the master tailor can exit and enter from for his naps, along with a window to open and a bolt of fabric that's lying on top of the wall, and a place for a table made out of spools for the brave little tailor to work on. And I have a little sketch here of it right here. I did add a door to the wall right here, but you've got the bolt of fabric on top of the wall, and it kind of looks like on either side there's a little rolling pin, but it's just a handle. Okay, so that's my first thought, is that the tailor's life is already buttoned up. He's very young and it's all buttoned up, and no matter what he does, he is forever going to be in this tailor shop. He can never escape. He's sewn in, he's buttoned in. So also have this right here. Sorry about that. So, and there's a pin cushion right there he could sit on that looks comfortable, but, ouch, because a pin might stick him in the ass. So that's that. So there's the brave little tailor shop. See that as stage right. And then we get to the town square. And I see this being stage left, a signpost being stage left with all the things like the woods, the dragon cave, the names for where things go. And this would be the town square. This would be where the jam lady and the baker's wife have their conversation. While they're having their conversation, stage left, I see a scene change happening stage right, or it can happen very quickly after they have their conversation, which is to spin the door that is stage right, the door that people enter in for the tailor shop, spin it 180 degrees so that it has a different surface on it over here. And then we don't even spin this. This is just 4x8, 4x8, 4x8. But the bolt of fabric that was at the top here, we can roll it down. Stage hands can roll it down like a rolling pin, and that can be the backdrop for the baker's, for where the baker is going to be baking his bread. But I like the idea of rolling pins because the baker's wife is kind of mean and is constantly hitting him over the head with words, and it feels like he's, yes dear, yes dear, yes dear. It's almost like he's getting hit over the head by a rolling pin with her words. So we would have the bakery, obviously the rolling pin. This door would have to open upstage, and you would have to step over it if anybody actually wanted to come through it. I don't know if anybody would actually want to come through it or not, but you would have this, and this would roll down over the door frame, and you would have cross wooden spoons over here. That would be kind of fun, and the door in the opposite side is for the tailor, but this would be for the baker. And it's just something, and this wouldn't have to move at all. This would still be stage right. So a very quick scene change. Flip 180 degrees, roll this down, boom, and then while this scene is going on, you can get rid of the town square. You can roll it off stage left. So we're in the bakery. And then what I suggest next, and I don't know if this can be done or not, is that we bring the main rag in. But if this can't happen, that's fine. We could just bring this on stage. And this would be, instead of the king's court versus the king's throne room, I came up with the idea of a balcony because he is addressing large groups of peasants. So, and I made this out of tape measure. This is all made out of tape measure. The only reason I didn't make the baker shop out of sewing material is because the baker and the brave little tailor never interact. So I made the baker's world about baking, and everything that the little tailor interacts with I tried to make about sewing or out of sewing. So this is like tape, this is tape measure with an arch, and this is his balcony. And then, so this is the image I sketched right here. And then whether, and I guess it doesn't matter if you can't use the curtain. So, if you can't use the curtain, fine, you can't use the curtain. But I just thought it would be a really cool reveal if you flew the curtain out and a stagehand pulled this off stage and he did a 180 and walked into his throne room where he has his throne and then the princess's throne. And I added a Joker chair in here because it's a gesture chair because it's kind of fun, and his regalia on either side. And this would be on a wagon. That could be while the curtain was in, this could be set, which I thought was kind of cool. And then this is just another sketch of that. So we're in the King's Court, and then while we're in the King's Court, this is all in the King's Court. When we're backstage, because the Tailor Baker shop would be pulled off stage right, you'd spin it 180 degrees. When you spun it 180 degrees, there would be another image. So you have 3 images on 2 walls. The tailor shop and the baker shop on one wall, you spin it 180 degrees, and then you would have the outside castle wall. And then you'd spin that backstage while the princess and the little tailor and the king are having their conversation. And then they have to go outside the castle. So the brave little tailor and the jester have to go outside the castle. So what I thought would work is you would bring this on stage. Stagehands could bring this on stage with almost no interruption whatsoever from acting. You cover it with ivy. And these are needles up and down worked into the wall. And there's silver metal snaps, as opposed, on the opposite side of this window right here, you flip it over, there would be silver metal snaps, because snaps are kind of mean looking. So it would be like a castle wall with a little window with silver metal snaps. That was my thought. So I even drew a picture. So there's these little snaps from the side, on the opposite side of the window. So when the throne is blocked by the outside castle wall, then you can, because this would be downstage of the throne room that was just in, you could, because the throne room would be on a wagon, you could have the 2 stagehands bring this on and then go upstage and wheel this off while this scene between the jester and the little tailor goes on. So that's my thought there. The other thing that I like is that I didn't mention is one of the things that I would like to keep on stage throughout the entire show is the forest, which can be upstage basically all the time, because it's not going to hurt you to have a forest in the background, because kingdoms have forests. So then we have to go from the outside castle wall to the woods. And you would have this forest upstage made. And I know you said you wanted pins. And I really did try to sketch these out, but everything wound up looking like it belonged to a production of the Lorex. And we're not doing Dr. Seuss. We're doing, I used tracers, and they kind of looked like, everything looked like a fluffula tree or a huffula tree or whatever those trees are in the Lorex. So what I found was this image that kind of looks like a tree, but if you make it big enough, you can put pine cones on it. You can put all sorts of ways to climb up it, so that you could, if you made this 8 feet tall and you made different sizes of them, you could have a forest upstage on wheels on one large don't have to wheel it off stage ever, one large wagon. And then you would also have one separate tree that would be made special that could be climbed on. So, you know, the unicorn, it could be made out of foam core, and it could be made out of, so that the unicorn could stick his horn in there, and it could also be climbed on. And then the other idea that I had in mind for this forest is that these trees, while this would never move, these trees they'd stay where they are, but they could spin 180 degrees. So you could paint half of them, like if this is looking down, this is the top view of one of the trees. You paint half of one of them, or all of them, green and brown to look like a tree on one side, and then you paint the other one black or dark gray. And the reason I would do that is when you get into the mountains, you could literally spin all of these 180 degrees and have silhouettes of the mountains. And you could have the stagehands backstage with a lever off stage behind a leg, shaking the mountains, and that would be kind of cool. This is why I was kind of hoping for a cyc, because you can project a sky onto a cyc, and you can put black or dark gray shapes to suggest mountains in silhouette, and then you can shake them back and forth, and that's kind of fun. And also you'd have thimble rocks. I have like little thimble rocks all over the place, which is kind of cute. So this would be the spool tree forest with one extra tree that could be climbable. Okay, so let's see. So the next scene after we get out of the forest is the king's court. So the only thing you would have to do here is roll the throne wagon on downstage of the forest. And in the one big tree that is climbable, you could roll further upstage if you wanted to, or you could adjust that if you wanted to. And I would ask if it's possible to isolate the throne room with light. So you would roll the throne on stage, and you would do the scene in the king's court. So we're in the king's court. We're in the king's court. Then the next thing that we would do, we would have to go to the outside castle wall, which is the next scene. So we would roll the outside castle wall back on stage, downstage of the throne room. And once this is in position, we would roll the throne room off stage. And so the little Tailor and the princess is having their scene. This would be rolled off stage. Stage left, stage right. I'm still working on that. And then while this scene is happening up here, we'd also spin all of these 180 degrees to their dark side for their silhouette. And the scenes spin the trees into the mountains. And there's also thimble boulders that I've made and set the climbable tree downstage where it needs to be for that big scene with the giants, by rolling it back downstage. So page 28, by rolling it back downstage from page number 28. So the princess. So the princess. This all happens while the princess and the little Tailor are having their scene. And then scene 7 is rolled off stage, which this is the outside scene with the princess and the Tailor. This is rolled off stage, and it reveals the mountains right here, and the one tree that's climbable, and the 2 boulder rocks, which are made out of thimbles. So I'm going to pull back here just a little bit. So you'd have somebody behind a leg, somebody off stage here, somebody off stage here. And when the giants were making their boom, 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 they could shake it back and forth, and the mountains would shake. That was my thought. Also, the brave little Tailors up here on top, and the 2 giants are sitting on their respective boulders because their backs are to one another. And I thought that they could lean up against the